we are going to look at what is going to be required for the project you are going to begin. Now, the first thing you need to know is project papers and rubric are going to be located on my website. If you go to the website and you click the Projects tab, you'll notice that I've already posted some information. The project will officially start Thursday of this week and will be due Thursday of next week. You will have that class period to work on it. If you will notice, there are two rubrics on the website. There's a high school rubric and a middle school rubric. They will both create a copyright brochure. There are higher expectations for a high school honors class than a middle school class. Please make sure you use the correct rubric. If you are in the high school class, use the high school project rubric. If you are in the middle school class, use the middle school project rubric. While the project rubrics are similar, there are some differences. If you're in high school and you use the middle school rubric, your grade will not be as high. If you are in middle school and you use the high school rubric, you will have more requirements to complete that you won't get graded on. So please make sure you use the correct rubric. Remember, we're starting this on Thursday. If you finish your classwork and want to start it earlier, you may. But our projected start date is Thursday, and it is due the following Thursday. It's under the Projects tabs. Next thing I want to point out to you is while middle school can use a template, high school students cannot, which means both groups should watch this video. But in middle school, if you choose a template, that's fine. In high school, you need to create your brochure from scratch, which means you're going to start with a blank piece of paper. Remember, this is a trifold brochure. So when you look at the first page, and you're going to need to create 2 pages, an inside and an out, the front of it, the cover, is going to be on your far right side. The back of it is in the middle, and the inside flap is on the left side. Because of the nature of what the brochure is, you are going to have to go to page layout, and you're going to have to change the orientation to landscape. If you're using a template, this will already be done for you. The next thing is you're going to want to set narrow margins. The next thing you need to go to is the columns. We're going to need 3 columns. I would suggest you go to more columns, because while you want 3 columns and you want them to be equally spaced, you don't need a line in between them. You're going to want to increase the spacing in between them, because there's usually a bigger space left on the brochures to accommodate the fold. You're going to want to add more spacing. You click OK. Now, it may help or it may not, but remember, you can do your show, hide, non-print characters. Now, if you look up here, there's 3 columns with some space in between. Now, this is where using your breaks may come in handy. You may want to put in column breaks, you may not. Remember, a column break means that anything typed in underneath it, so we can type above the column break, no problem. When we go to type in underneath it, it will automatically put us on the next line. You cannot type underneath a column break. There are some other tools you may want to use, even if you're using a template. You may want to put in a text box. Putting in a text box, you go to Insert, you find Text Box, and you're going to want to draw the text box. This would be the easiest way to get into the right column to add a title, to where you want your title to be. In the text box, you still have the option to change the font, the color, everything you would normally do to text. You will also notice that drawing tools appear. In drawing tools, you can use word art. You can take and add different colors. You can fill the shape. You can do an outline. You can get rid of the outline if you don't want anybody to know you put a text box in there. Okay. So there's a bunch of things you can do in here. You may choose color themes if you want for your template. I would suggest you use styles, though that is not a requirement, but it'll help if you use styles for your heading, so that if you change one style, you change them all. Okay. You are going to be required to insert pictures. To do this, you're going to go to Insert, go to Online Pictures, and then you're going to type in the Bing search engine, and you're going to type whatever you're looking for, keyword, and it'll give you some images. Now, search results are images licensed under Creative Commons. You do not want to show all web results. Because it is a copyright brochure, if you violate copyright, you are getting an F on the assignment. You also need to be careful on the Bing Creative Commons. Just because Bing says it is Creative Commons, you need to look for some telltale symbols that it's not. For example, if we go into Insert and we go into Online Pictures, we type in a search, we look and we find one we like, and you insert it. So click on the picture, click Insert. You can make it as big as you want. Now if you notice, part of this is hiding behind the other screen, the other side. If you wanted to go across columns, you're going to have to click Text Wrap and pick a different text wrap that'll work for you. But the other thing I want to point out is just because the picture said Creative Commons on it, if you look, this has a watermark. Any picture that is watermarked is not a Creative Commons. So even though Bing said this was Creative Commons, it's not. So watch out. If your pictures have watermarks on them, which is this little grayed out word or a symbol back here, they are not Creative Commons. If they have a copyright symbol, they are not to be used. You need to make sure you do not violate copyright. A couple of other hints. If you're trying to insert pictures and you want them to line up, remember under View, not only do you have the ruler tool, but you have grid lines. Grid lines can help you line up pictures. If you look, when I move this text box, I can use the grid lines to line it up. Then I can line up pictures to be even with it. So there are different ways you can line up your pictures. One last thing, what you're going to want to do is to go into File, go into Options, when you're in Options, go down to Proofing, and click Show Readability Statistics. Click OK. Now let me show you what this does on another document. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the graphs sheet we're going to do in class, or we've done in class. I'm going to show you that that option is checked. So in Proofing, the option is checked. We go into OK. Now when I do a spell check, you can do a spell check by typing F7. You can go to Review and do Spelling and Grammar. Notice when I do that, not only does it check spelling, it gives me a word count, it gives me average sentences per paragraph, it gives me words per sentences, but what you want to look at is this grade level. This grade level of the graph sheet we've worked on in class, the way it's written is actually written at a 10.3 grade level. When you are gearing your project towards upper elementary, you want to keep this number below 5. It's going to be difficult, but you need to use your own words, and you're going to need to keep it simple. You may have to do section by section, so when you type a section, in order to do section by section and spell it, check it, you highlight what you want to spell check, and you click the spell check. When it says, we have finished checking your selection, want to check the rest of the document, you click No. It'll tell you what that particular part of the document is written at. A lot of what this deals with is how long your sentences are and how many syllables are in your words. So shorter sentences and bullet points will lower readability. Longer sentences longer syllabled words raise the grade level. So where you're looking at upper elementary, you do not want to let that grade level get too high. Make sure you turn in your homework for Friday.